telling me on my end that it's trying to set up.
Yeah, we should be up.
Did you get it?
Yep, we're up. We are we are
Okay.
ready.
All right. Let me start our intro. They have been best friends since childhood, played the same sports, attended the same schools, and now they even teach together. You're listening to DC DH on the DND Dynamite 80s podcast. So, guys, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a special edition of D&D Dynamite 80s. We're here bright and early on a Saturday morning for us.
We do these Saturdays when we have our friends from
Yes,
the UK on, don't we?
yes.
We have to do
So,
these Saturday shows.
yeah. So if you hear somebody doze off over here and snoring, I'm just meditating, getting myself back
No,
together.
we're used to this time of the day.
Oh yeah, we're usually already up and rolling by now. DC, how's your week been, brother?
It's good. We're about 9 weeks from being done with school, so it's even better.
Man, are we that close already?
We are that close into the third quarter.
Unbelievable. All right. Well, listen, we're going to jump right in because I know folks don't get on in here to hear our boring voices. They want to
they do
see
not.
what's going on. So DC, I'm going to throw it over to you. I'm excited to get this one rolling this morning.
Absolutely. We are just thrilled to have Jodie Jane Jackson, Jodie Jackson from the UK. She is the number one, and I read on her a little bit, and she's held this title for a long time, man.
Yes.
Number one tribute to Madonna in the UK, and she's traveled and performed a lot of different parts of the world too. So we'll get into some of that as well. But Jodie, how are you this afternoon for you?
Yes.
I'm doing great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
It's our pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Yes,
First and foremost, did you have music background early in your age growing up and all that?
Well, when I was a little girl, when I was about 4 or 5, I wanted to go to dancing lessons, like wear little ballet shoes. So I went to ballet and tap, and I loved the sound of the tapping as a child, and I absolutely loved it with all my heart. And then my dad, when I was 7 years old, showed me a map of the world, and he showed me where America was and where my auntie lived, and all the blue was the sea and the water. And I just wanted to travel all over this whole world, this map that he was showing me as a singer and as a dancer. So it started from a very early age. I just had this dream and this passion. And so I started dancing lessons, singing lessons, drama lessons, trained in London when I was older. And then I did musical theatre, cruise ships, lots of tours, everything.
Yeah.
One of the things I read was excuse me, I have to excuse my voice a little bit this morning, but you were actually chosen for the smash hit Material Girl, which is that kind of how the Madonna persona came about, or was Madonna always an influence in your life?
She's always been an influence because she just burst onto the scene, and I think she influenced so many young girls' lives at that time, and she continues to do so. No, I started the tribute show, my own tribute show as a solo artist at 14 years ago, after my career in the West End and lots of tours and different shows in many countries. And then Material Girl, it was one of the best shows I've ever done in my life. It was a different company called Slam Dunk Productions here in the UK. And they said that they were doing this tour about Madonna, and they've been searching for the leading role, and they just offered it to me. They said, "You're the perfect girl. Would you like to do it?" And I did it for a year, and it was fantastic. It was the best thing.
That's awesome. And from what I kind of read, you've been pretty much, like you said, you wanted to cover the map. I think you've pretty much covered that. I read
most
Dubai, Qatar, Germany, Japan. What is one of your favorite places that you've been and performed?
Oh, that's a really hard question because I love everywhere that I go. It's a different culture. It's a different concept, and it's just it's everywhere is so unique in its own way. I love going to the Middle East. I love going to the Middle East because I love the country, but the audiences are quite different there. There's a different feel. I don't know. I loved Finland as well. We did a tour of Finland as Material
Yep.
Girl,
Yep.
and that was absolutely wonderful. The people were just fantastic. I don't really have a favorite. I like them all.
Just traveling in general. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Haven't performed in the U.S. yet, though, right?
No, I haven't
Need
because
to get you
you
here.
you
That's
need
for
a green
sure.
card, don't
You're
you?
amazing.
So I need to marry an American. Any
Yeah, we
offers?
definitely need to get you
yeah,
over here because you have a great show that you put together. It is truly amazing.
I would
yeah.
absolutely love to come there. I really,
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
would.
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah.
possibility I was going to be in Legends in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure what happened, but we were in talks at some point. And I don't know if it was like a voting system and it wasn't unanimous. I don't know quite what happened, but it was a possibility at some point, but it never transpired. So I don't know what happened.
Well, hopefully it will. We
Yes.
have several guests that come out of Vegas area, so that is definitely a hot spot for the great performances of the tributes and stuff. So
Well,
hopefully that'll work out.
I
Yeah.
saw a Madonna there. It was absolutely brilliant. When I came
Uh-huh.
over to Vegas, I've been a few
Uh-huh.
times, and
Oh,
I
okay.
saw Madonna, and I've never seen another Madonna because I'm always performing when they're performing.
Right.
So
Right.
it was so brilliant to see another girl, and she was
Yeah. Yeah.
actually at the bus stop, getting on a bus when it came out. And I wanted her autograph, and I wanted to introduce myself, but
Right.
I thought she won't want to talk to me, so I never spoke to her.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
That's cool stuff. Yeah, let me ask this as well. Since we're kind of on Madonna, have you heard any contact about your performance of her in any way from her people or her herself?
No, I haven't, but I did some interviews with her world tour being announced here in the UK about a month ago. And I was on like the world news, and I think it was like 250 million people saw it. And then
Wow.
suddenly my Miss Madonna Facebook page was shut
Uh-huh.
down. And I was, oh
Uh-huh.
my God, why? Because somebody was accusing me of trying to be Madonna, not and me
Yeah.
saying I was her and not impersonating her. But we rectified that very quickly and put the record
Good.
straight. So I don't know if it was
Yeah.
somebody from her legal team or somebody just being a little bit jealous. I don't know.
Sure.
But no, nobody's really contacted me. I did on her last tour. I did contact her PA and asked if I could meet her, but they said that she was too busy.
Too busy. Have you met any stars through
Of
this?
course, I've worked with so
Who's some of them that
many.
stick out to you?
Well, when I was a child, I did a show in the West End called Bugsy Malone, and I was in a hotel room for 4 months with Catherine Zeta-Jones. So hi,
Wow.
Catherine, if you're watching, I don't know if you remember me. I'm sure you will. She used to sing to me all the time, secretly. She
Right.
used to sing in her own band, and as a little girl, and she used to sing those songs to me privately because she didn't want to show off, but I made her sing to me. So, and then I've done lots of pantomimes in England, which is a Christmas traditional show,
Mm-hmm.
and they usually have lots of stars and celebrities. So I've played Cinderella 4 times and worked with lots of different like stars. I've met a lot of famous people.
No, that's
had
awesome.
the privilege of working with quite a few.
we
Well,
do have one question in on the
yeah.
chat. Jenny wants to know, what is your favorite song to perform from Madonna?
Thank you, Jenny, for coming in, by the way.
Yes.
Hi, Jenny. It's got to be Like a Prayer, because all over the world, no matter if people don't even like Madonna or they're not even a Madonna fan, they all know that song and they all sing it. Even if they're 92, they still sing that song. They love it, and they always get up and dance and jiggle if they've only got like one leg or something. They do. Everyone loves it. It's so iconic.
DC, I think that reference to 92 was aimed at us there for a
I
minute.
think so. Yeah, we're heading towards that pretty quickly.
I feel like it.
I do too, daily. Let me also go ahead and ask this as well. I'm curious about this, especially when we have tributes that we interview. Um, is your personality similar or totally opposite? Totally opposite of what her, what she comes over as being.
I'm not as cocky as Madonna, because I don't have her money.
Right.
I think I think she's more direct and more upfront and a little bit more business minded than I am. I've had to
Okay.
learn how to work that side of things, which I found difficult at first, like negotiating fees and things. But at the end of the day, it's my livelihood, so I've learned to become stronger. But no, I mean, she's a massive businesswoman as well, isn't she? And I think she's quite ruthless.
Sure.
And I think I'm quite soft, and I'm really too nice.
Gotcha.
A lot of the time. I haven't met her, so maybe she's just putting on a front, but I think she comes across as quite strong and direct, and I think she can be quite ruthless sometimes, because you need to be like that to be successful in business, and I don't really have that side.
Sure. That's a characteristic, a strong one. Absolutely.
One thing I would like to ask, we're going to take Madonna out of the equation for a second. Top 5 favorite 80s artists. And you can't include Madonna.
Okay.
Wow,
well,
okay.
I loved Wham. You know Wham, George Michael and Andrew.
Absolutely.
So Wham was brilliant. I also loved Blondie. Do you know Blondie?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Definitely.
Because it's a little bit different, isn't it? And I've always loved Kylie Minogue as well, because she's been kind of on a little par with Madonna. You know Kylie from Australia? Is she quite famous in America also? Do you know Kylie Minogue?
Yes.
Sort of. Okay. And then there was obviously Michael Jackson.
Oh, absolutely.
Michael Jackson was absolutely brilliant.
Right. Has to be at the top of the list in the 80s.
Yes.
No question.
Got to be. And Tina Turner.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Very strong one. That's a great list.
Yes. And
that's a better list than us, DH.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
That would be definitely a better list than we could come up with.
I kind of really feel bad because for some reason, Tina Turner never entered my mind when I was thinking top 5.
And she is a Tennessee native.
Yes, and what a talent. Oh, man.
Yeah, she grew up in Tennessee, actually.
I feel bad now. I think I should just stop the podcast and go punish myself or something.
We need more research, don't we?
Yeah.
Before we take on this adventure.
Well, we lived the 80s. I didn't know what more research we could do.
Well, that's true. We should be kind of sort of experts, I would think.
Yeah. And she even did a song with Bryan Adams. It was one of my favorites.
Yes.
It's I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
That's exactly right. That leads me to the next one. I always like to ask this. Now, DH, help me out. We have interviewed, one of our actual first interviews was Kevin Patterson of Fiction Factory. Fabulous group in the 80s.
Yes.
From the UK. And he talked about the experience of being on Top of the Pops and in that great show and how that kind of, put them to the forefront. Just a super individual, by the way. I asked him, who else have we had, DH?
What I was trying to think.
We've had a couple more. Mike Reed, who was actually on Top of the Pops, that hosted it.
Right.
Producer and all that stuff. I've asked them all that. We've had several, thank goodness. I mean, we just wonderful people.
Bluetooth.
So here's the question. Why do you think so much talent has come out of the UK? Especially, there was tons of them in the 80s, but it's continued obviously. But I was just amazed as I started researching when we started this project of how many were in the 80s that were just world known names. Why do you think that is? And I've asked them, and it's interesting. I get a little bit of the same answer sometimes, but then they'll put a twist to something a little different in their opinion about it. So I'm curious.
I think we're such a small country, which is really highly populated, and there's so much talent and competition. So
Oh,
only the best, with a little bit of luck as well, especially in
sure,
the 80s
sure.
before you had all this like synthetic stuff
Right.
to create
Right,
like amazing
right.
like voices and all this fabricated, people up front and other voices going behind the scenes, and they were authentic. And I just think it was dog eat dog, and everybody fought to try and be the best. And this is why the cream of the crop, this is why you had an array of people to choose from, because they were the best, and they were all different, and the whole all had like a different image and a different concept and different music, and they were all individual. Like Michael Jackson compared to Duran Duran, to Spandau Ballet, to Tina, they were all different. There was Cyndi Lauper as well, and
Sure.
obviously Madonna. Well, she's American, but they were all. I think, yeah, there was a lot of competition, and there was a lot of effort put into it. That's what I think. Yeah.
I've asked this to kind of follow up with that. Was there a strong emphasis of music, probably in the home and in school at an early age for a
Well,
lot
the
of
thing
these
was,
people?
in England, I don't know how it compares to America. We only had about 3 TV channels back in the
Ah,
80s.
okay,
So the
right.
radio was massive. So when I was getting ready for school in the morning, it wasn't the TV that was on, it was the radio. So all the music was played on the radio. So everybody knew the songs. Whereas now you can just sit and watch Netflix all day and not play a song at all. Whereas before there were always songs wherever you were, in the car or in the house, always in the house, it was the radio and music. So I think that's where it stems from.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was kind of the
That's a
same
great
over here
point.
for us in the 80s,
Yeah,
DC. I
yeah,
mean, it was
yeah.
what, up until we were probably 14, 15.
Well, you were
There's 3
fortunate. You
TV
had the
channels.
cable.
Yeah, but that was when we
Yes.
were
My
like 14,
parents still
15.
don't have. They still have the scratchy, squiggly three channel deal. They're
Hey,
just old school. They're just
at
old
least
school.
they're not
So I
paying
grew up
200.
with that. I know what you're talking about with the 3 channel deal.
Yes, at
And
least
one
they're
of them
not
might
paying
not come in
$200
unless
a
you
month.
stood up and held onto the antenna wire or something else.
Run outside and turn it in the rain.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I get it. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of
Yes.
sense.
And, that's something we kind of talked about. Like over here, there was certain, I guess, radio disc jockeys that kind of were kind of iconic because of that. So is that the same in England? And my follow-up question to that would be, who were your influences when you were
Yes.
young?
Who are my influences? Well, I kind of wanted to be a Hollywood star, really. So I was kind of more focused on the singing and the dancing and that kind of feel of things. And then when I grew up and I went to college in London, they'd kind of stopped making like these musical films then, and it was just acting. So it was a little bit strange. So I was kind of more focused on being in Hollywood. Well, that never happened, did it? and be
Not
like a
yet.
movie.
Don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. There's still time.
There's
like
time.
a movie star, but then the markets had changed. It completely changed.
Yeah.
And the singing and dancing, you became ensemble. As a dancer, you just became ensemble. And I thought, I don't want to be ensemble. I want to be the star. So luckily I could sing. So I ended up doing quite a few leads in shows. So I kind of went down the musical theatre route. So the pop scene was kind of like a secondary thing to my other focus, which was like musical theatre and film. So I was kind of more focused on that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, does that help you with your live shows? Having that theatrical background like that?
Absolutely, yes, 100%. Especially when I was doing the tour of Material Girl, and we performed in like 45 different theatres in the UK, and then we did 2 tours of Finland. So yes, that was amazing, because there was a lot of training. Working in Finland was like a full week of songs, and I used to sing 28 songs and a 7.5-minute mega mix live. So that's a lot of pressure on the voice. So all my musical theatre training I was able to put that into place. I was able to sing perfectly say perfectly. I think I did. All the shows. So that was brilliant. The discipline of knowing how to use the voice.
Right.
And then obviously the gigging, the transition from being a musical theatre performer where people come and sit down and they watch you and they're silent, to somebody in a gig where they're drinking and shouting and dancing and going mental and falling all over the place and trying to drag you off the stage. I mean, then you have to chat to the audience. So the combination of both of them, so the musical theatre background was wonderful for the technique of the singing, and then the gigging was great to be able to try and incorporate the audience in a musical theatre environment as a Madonna show. So both experiences combined is perfect, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
DC, it sounds like you were at her show with all the drinking and the hollering and the hooping.
I must have been the front row guy. Yeah, she was kind of describing me, I think.
I think so. Did you drive your powder blue mobile over
there?
I
did. Yeah. Yeah. Let me go with this as well, because I'm curious. If you had a chance for your show to open up for one of these, and man, are we starting to get a lot of these folks kind of regenerating their career? These folks from the 80s, of course, they're starting to do the Air Supply just started another tour here in America, and they're starting to kind of come back out, together, who would be something that, or someone that you would like to open for?
You mean like to have my own show and to open it?
Be the opening act for one of these other performers. Yeah, do your thing, and then they come on and do theirs.
Well, it'd be nice to be invited to do the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there you go.
They
pay. I would say they pay a few bucks. Yeah, I'd say they pay a few bucks. Yeah, a few dollars. Yeah. Okay. Cool stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I think I would definitely watch that one. And here's the thing.
Definitely.
I'll be very honest about that. Some of them, and I hate saying this, but some of them I will not. I don't watch. I'm not interested. It's just one of those things. I guess it's just a trendy. Whoever's kind of in the in the limelight or whatever at the time. But some of them I don't watch. But I would definitely be interested in watching your performance on the Super Bowl for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great one. That's a great one. Let me go with this as well, because we always love to ask this of our guests. And we kind of touched around it a little bit, but we didn't really go into detail. Why do you think this overall 80s music, and I guess some of the 80s movies and TV stuff's coming back too, where people are watching it? But
a lot of it is.
You mentioned it. Even people maybe in their late years, like 90s or whatever, even to young people like, DH and myself teach high school kids.
I thought you were going to say we were young. I was like, man, it's way too.
Well, we're young in heart, but yeah, but people love the 80s music, and it doesn't matter what generation. And I'm just curious your opinion of why it is so strong to people.
I tell you exactly why it is. It's because they had lovely melodies and everybody could sing the songs, and it wasn't saturated with this boom, boom, boom house thing. This techno kind of, the amount of times I turn the radio off because I can't stand the noise, but I never turn a song off that I can sing to. And the 80s was massive, like the 60s, especially in the UK. I'm sure it was the same in America. And so everybody can dance and sing and have a good time to all those songs, whereas the 90s was a bit hit and miss. The 2000s, it was massively, the house music has always been quite dominant if you're into that, and I was at one point, but it's the lyrical side that you can sing and dance to and have a good time, especially when you're on the alcohol. because the inhibitions go, and you can sing the words and the songs, and it brings back the memories of that time. And I think that's what it is about 80s music, why people love it more.
Yeah, yeah.
I think also
and
with
people
the
have
80s,
said, you know, and we've talked about this too. It was just a great time of life
yes. And not only that, but in the
overall.
80s,
You know,
we all listened to every genre. It wasn't like you were locked
exactly.
into that. And kind of speaking of genres, this brings up the most important question of the day. DC and I
I knew
have
you
this
would have it.
running.
I knew
Yeah,
you would have it.
we
Yeah.
have this running poll.
Oh, gee
I'm not
whiz.
going to
All
tell
right.
you whose choice is whose, but he has one side, I have one side. I will say my side's kind of winning in a landslide right now, but we're going to talk a little hair metal. Van Halen or Motley Crue? Your choice.
Me, Motley Crue.
Oh, oh,
No.
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
DC, you got one.
I got one.
Oh, both
Fabulous.
are amazing bands.
That's made my day.
Yeah, you're gonna have a great Saturday.
It's always Van Halen, and I love Van Halen. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, and I love the Crue
You
too.
can't
But
leave out Motley Crue, and they're once again. Oh, they're on the with their British buddies. They're on a big, huge tour, starting back out on the road with Def Leppard.
Yeah, they're out with Def Leppard. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's
So
probably
that ought
an
to be an
amazing
awesome
show. I would say.
wouldn't it?
Maybe Jodie could join that show, and we could have all
Yeah,
three acts.
that
That
would
be
be
amazing. I
awesome.
would come watch.
You darn right. Hey, you talking about a show now? That's a spectrum. That's a wide spectrum of some good stuff right there.
That would
to watch.
be. You talking about representative of the '80s?
We need to get on that. We'll represent her in the business sense and try to get that to make that happen.
DC, you need to get busy. You should be doing some work.
You're right, to make that happen. Yeah, absolutely. I also wanted to ask. I'm curious on this one. If you had a chance to come to the U.S. to perform, what cities would you like to? Well, let's do this. Well, you can do this. It may be one city or several different ones that you'd like to stay and kind of do that in. The biggies, obviously, probably the big cities.
Well, yeah, obviously, the New York, the LA.
Sure.
Michigan would be great because Madonna's from Michigan and my cousin lives there, and I visit quite often. So it'd be lovely to maybe
play
do
Detroit.
Yeah. So that would be something, because obviously she's from that state.
Right.
Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. That's like a place where there's quite a lot of yeah. I don't. What would you suggest? Where do you think would work well?
Nashville. No, just
of course. Yeah.
Nashville.
Come to Nashville. Yeah. Hey, speaking of Nashville, it is really taking off. There's lots and lots of people coming here to try to do their deal on the music scene. That's for sure. And it's changed a lot. We're known for the country music, but there's lots of genres of folks here trying to make it happen for themselves. That's for sure.
And the cool thing about if you come to Nashville,
we get to be there.
Yeah, you could get to meet us.
We would be the two bald-headed guys up front yelling and screaming.
My mother-in-law is actually from England, so yes.
Yeah.
She's kind of got me hooked a little bit on tea.
Yeah, there you
go. To be honest with you, I don't even remember. All of her family is still over there. I know it's somewhere on one of the coasts, but I don't remember. It's like
that narrowed it down, DA.
I want to say like 45 minutes outside of London, I think is what they said to get to the airport. But they come over, her relatives come over all the time. And it's really funny because I'll be carrying on a conversation, and at some point, because of the different, words and connotations we use, I'm kind of like, I'm not really sure what we're talking about. But
we've got our own language.
That's what
we
I'm
got
saying.
Southern slang.
We don't really speak English.
Yeah, we don't really speak English here. And it's pretty slow what we do, so you don't miss anything.
But I've always said I'm going to make a trip over there whenever they build a bridge.
Oh man, Yeah.
Because here's my
Build
thing.
a bridge.
I love flying, but I don't like flying over water because if we ever go down, I'm kind of a big guy, and I know the sharks are going to go, "Hey, buffet," So I'm like, well, I don't want to give them.
No, that's definitely a place I want to visit. Is
Yeah, I definitely.
Scotland and all those wonderful. I mean, beautiful, beautiful place.
Oh yes, some of the
Unreal.
pictures they show me from their area is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And their beach, the beach, I wish I could remember the name of it, but for some reason I'm drawing a blank. But like where we have that kind of that sand, this is more of a pebble type layout on the beach, and it's really nice.
Hmm.
The Mere, have you ever heard of like the Mere where they take the boats out, like little rowboats?
The Mere, you mean the Lake Windermere, which is kind of in the northwest of England?
That may be it. I just hear my mother-in-law talking about they always, when she was young, they would go out on the Mere in the rowboats.
Yes, it's probably Lake
Okay.
Windermere, a big lake in the northwest of England.
So
Up
from that
north.
area then.
So
Yeah.
that's where she's
Lake
from, that
District.
area? Okay. Cool.
Oh, that's
Yeah, just
lovely.
super sweet lady. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, maybe she'll take you the next time she goes.
Well, if we ever go over there, I'm going to try to make sure we can see one of Jodie's shows if she's performing over there. So
of course.
DC, you've
Of
got
course.
the money. You should just write the checks and let's go.
Right. Yeah. I'm a teacher, by the way. Remember that. So yeah, I got lots and lots of money. Yeah. Hey, on the way out, let everybody know. I know you got a show coming up tonight.
I do.
And where we can all, because of course we already follow you.
Yes.
All the social media spots and all that good stuff. And let me ask this as well. Is YouTube probably the best spot to kind of see some of your work?
Yeah, there's a lot on there. I mean, my website is Miss Madonna UK, so there's quite a few videos on there. And then
Okay.
I think they just take you to links. There's all sorts on there. I'm so not technical. I'm so rubbish. I've got somebody that does all this for me. But yeah, if you just
That's what we need to do.
If you just Google Miss Madonna, it comes up on YouTube, and my website comes up, and my Facebook pages, and obviously Instagram. There's little bits and clips on there. Yeah, it's kind of scattered all over. I think.
Okay. So where can they find you on the socials? What's all your sites?
If you Google Miss Madonna, you would hit my website, and then the Instagram is attached to it, the Facebook's attached, Twitter, and so on, and then it'll take you into a whole new abyss.
Yes. And by the way, if it was not you, it was your assistant or whoever. They have tagged us several times on the upcoming show, and we appreciate that. We're still young at what we're doing here, so we're trying to get what we do out and about in the media, social world
Yes,
here.
definitely
So
appreciate that.
we definitely appreciate that.
Oh,
all the best to you, Jodie. Can you
Yes.
hang right there as we kind of close out our show here? Can you hold just a second?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. Lovely to meet you.
Our pleasure. And
Yes,
the best to
definitely.
you tonight at your performance. And
Thank you.
be safe in your travels.
Yes,
I will be. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
we'll
you.
definitely check back in with you in the future.
You do that.
All right, DH.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. First off, I would like to thank Jodie Jackson for joining us and taking time out of her busy schedule. Jodie, thank you so much. Amazing individual, folks. Check out her videos. You're gonna love it. We need to really get her over here, DC. We need to get her over into the Nashville
We'll get
area.
some those Nashville connections that you have and get that to happen.
Yes. All right, folks. Remember, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Radio Republic, Breaker Radio. You can also find us on YouTube. We're in the Twitterverse, on our website, Facebook, and new coming to TikTok. Straight
TikToker.
Wherever
we're
we
new
do
to
these
that.
at.
Trying to figure that
all
in
of this
a while.
All this DND Dynamite 80s. So make sure go in, give us a share, give us a like, give us a follow, say hello. Just spread the fun. That's all.
Any negative comments goes to DH.
Oh, wait a minute. No, we had that's in the contract. All those come to you, DC. That's your part of the contract.
All right, let me hit our sponsors, and then I'll let you wrap
Sounds
it
like
up
a plan.
for us, buddy. We would like to thank our sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, veteran owned and operated, the Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, and our newest sponsor, PJG Marketing. You can find all these great folks online.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. As I always say, remember, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind, so always be kind to each other. DC?
It most certainly does not. Amen, brother. And as DC here always says, keep playing those 80s. We appreciate Jodie Jackson joining us from UK live again tonight, or this evening for her, or afternoon, sorry. But she has a performance tonight, this evening. So please, like I said, check out her work. It is amazing. And hopefully she'll be able to get to the States for sure.
Oh, that would be amazing. Thank you.
Okay. It was a pleasure to have you.
Yes, pleasure to have
Thank you, guys.
Next week, DH special week. We usually do this deal on Wednesday nights. We got to work. So we'll be,
and
I'll be on
next
with
week,
you Thursday night
I was going to
with
say, you're going to
TikTok
be
star.
solo.
Yeah, got to go
Yeah.
solo on Thursday, special Thursday. That's going to be Jordan Rumsey, the TikTok star. This young lady is what, 19 or 20, age 19 or 20, but she lives in the 80s.
Yes.
She dresses 80s. All her music is 80s. She talks 80s. She is very knowledgeable of movies and TVs of 80s. So it's going to be a fabulous, fabulous show. Can't wait to
Yes.
catch up with her. Duran, not the original, but Duran, 3 Durans. The tribute band out of Las Vegas will be with us on March the 15th.
Yes.
So looking forward to them. So once again, Jodie, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Everybody
Thank you,
have a
my
great
lovelies.
Saturday.
Bye-bye, honeys.
Yeah, and
Bye-bye.
DC will catch you on the show next Thursday night.
Yes, I'll be
Thank
following
you.
the chat. I'll be doing some administrative duties, but I'll be following the chat. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
folks, keep me updated on how bad DC's doing on there. I'll kind of follow that.
All right, brother.
Just kidding, DC. You can do an amazing job.
All right.
folks, till
Once
next
again,
time.
great show, my man, and we'll see everybody next time.